Welcome everybody to my home on the Isle of Wight. As Covert-Ops the Extraction was released on the 1st of February, we decided to do a bit of Q&A because I've had lots of emails with people asking me questions. Let's start with the first one that came from Beth, and she wants to know, can you give us a brief synopsis of Covert-Ops the Extraction? Well, of course I can. The Extraction is the 4th book in the Covert-Ops series. The novel follows the thrilling adventures of the team tasked with a high-risk extraction from the middle of a rainforest. We start the mission in Puerto Rico, before flying to a remote island where the team must navigate through the dangerous territory, facing numerous obstacles and enemies, all the while trying to rescue the hostages which are being held by a drug cartel. The question is, are the hostages there? Or in fact, are they actually still alive? Right, our next question comes from Hadley, and he wants to know who the main characters in Covert-Ops the Extractions are. This is a simple question really, because we started off in Danger in the Paradise, which was the first book. In that we had 3 main characters, Steve, Simon and George. By the time we got to Danger on the Island, we'd picked up Derek. And then in the 4th book we now have 5 main characters. We have Steve, the team leader and expert planner. He's also the explosives and the IED expert. Then we have Simon. Simon is the team's transport guy. He makes sure all our transport needs are sorted. Then we move on to George. George is a valuable member of the team. He's actually the team's sniper. Then we have Derek. Derek is our communications and radio expert. Keeps the team in comms while we're out on a separate missions. Then we have Lucy. Lucy is not only a trained sniper, but she's the team's interrogator and not a person to be messed with. Hope that answers your question. The next question comes from Abby, and she wants to know what motivates me to write about military PTSD in the Covert-Ops series. Well, the answer is more simple than you think. Myself, I'm an ex-soldier. I spent 9 years in the Royal Green Jackets, and certain events happened in the Forgotten War that ended up with me having military PTSD. I've now been to combat stress hospital for a total of 8 weeks. Now, why include it in the books? Well, I want to raise the awareness of military PTSD with people, because a lot of people really don't understand what a sufferer of PTSD actually goes through. Now I can put it into my character, like their lack of empathy. Now, empathy is one of the conditions of PTSD, same as depression. Now, by putting it into the characters, as I said, I'm making it aware. Another reason for putting PTSD, I want to start people raising the question, what is PTSD? What's the difference between civilian and military PTSD? Right, moving on to the next question. Throughout the book, the settings and locations are described in vivid detail, from the desolate landscapes of the desert to towns deep in the tropical rainforest. Could you tell us about the research process that went into creating such authentic and immersive environments? Okay, Joshua, simple. Over the last Christmas, from December to March, I travelled around the Caribbean, checking out all the different islands and making trips into the rainforest. I then moved on to the Australian outback, and through family we travelled up the Great Northern Road from Perth all the way up to Darwin. So I staked out a lot of the locations. Especially paid attention to some of the roadhouses and how they were laid out, and you'll find that comes out in the book. Hope that answers that question. Our next question comes from Eddie, and he asks, the action sequences in The Extraction are incredibly gripping and intense. How did you approach writing these scenes to ensure they were both realistic and captivating? Did you draw on personal experience or rely on research to create such dynamic action scenes? Well, Eddie, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, I was in a soldier, so I could rely on a lot of my past experience. What does help is the PTSD, because of lack of empathy, which makes their life a lot easier when you're describing dispatching somebody, which isn't a nice thing, but it's what's in the books. Next, surprising how much you can learn from watching the right type of movie. You pick up ideas and you think, that'll fit in this part of this book. I did a little bit of research, but most of it is all generated from my own head and from my own experiences. Okay, let's move on to the next question from John. He says, the character arcs in Covert-Ops, the extraction, are complex and develop significantly throughout the story. How did you approach crafting these arcs, and were there any specific inspiration or influences that guided their evolution? Like I say on that one, John, as Simon and George are both people I actually know, and same as Derek. And I know what their capabilities are, what they used to do in the military, because they're all ex-military. So their art was quite easy. And what I've tried to do in the extraction is develop each character more as the series goes on. So this time you'll find there's more interaction from Derek and what he's up to, as the same as Lucy. And I'll slip up here, but in the next book you'll see another character come straight forward to the front. We can't just rely on Steve to be the main character. Hope that answers your question. Now we have a question from Richard, and his question is, the pacing of Covert-Ops: The Extraction is relentless, constantly driving the story forward. How did you maintain this sense of urgency, and were any techniques or strategies you employed to keep readers engaged and invested? Well, first of all, I'm what you call a panther writer, so that means I just sit down and the story comes out of my head. I'll stop now and again, as I said earlier, watching a film, that'll come in here, and as you start writing, certain things come into your head and you write them down. You know from your previous experience that how fast the story's got to go, and you can use different methods for increasing the speed or slowing it down. For example, increasing the speed, we use short sentences. That gets the reader actually reading faster. If you want to slow it down, we use longer sentences. There's lots of techniques a writer can use to keep the pace going. Okay, let's go on to our final question. And this is from Tara. And she wants to know, can you shed some light on your writing process for this book? Of course I can, Tara. My process is I do a lot of research of locations and ideas come to my head, which I then jot down. And then, as I said earlier, I'm a pantser, so what I'll do is I'll start writing. When an author writes a story, as I said, there's lots of tools we can use. I use AutoCorrect, which is a great system for correcting all your grammar mistakes and things like that. And there's lots of other software you can use, like TextWriter. It has an AI function, so if you get the writer's block, all you simply do is you put it into the text box what you want, it will come out with some writing, which then will give you the idea. Obviously you can't put your AI into your book, because that will stand out like a sore thumb. But it'll give you an idea where to take the story, and you can change little bits. And will there be another book? Yeah, I've already started on it. It's called Covert-Ops: The Legacy. And in this book, it's a little exclusive for you. Steve's daughters have been taken and they're being held by a drug cartel, and obviously he's going to do anything to get them back. Well, I hope that answered some of your questions. Obviously I haven't got time to go through every question we've got, but in conclusion, Covert-Ops: Extraction takes a reader on a thrilling journey, combining high stakes action, authentic military detail, and exploration of complex themes such as moral dilemmas or covert operations and the effects of military PTSD. My personal experiences and meticulously research shine through, create a compelling and realistic world. With plans for the future books, readers can look forward to further adventures of Covert-Ops series. And as I said right at the beginning, Covert-Ops Extraction is now available on Amazon and Green Cat Books. Go and have a look. If you want to just delve into Covert-Ops series and want to find out, you can also download for free, there isn't no catch, a copy of the first book called Covert-Ops Danger on the Island. I'll put all this information in the link in the description for you, so go and have a look. And a personal request from me, because it would do me a great favour, because us authors live for it. If you do read any of the books, please leave me a review on Amazon. It not only boosts my ego, but it also helps push the book up the rankings. That's it for now. I'll speak to you all again soon.